Cassie Ventura took the stand today in the highly anticipated trial of Sean Diddy Combs, delivering a harrowing and emotionally charged testimony that has left the courtroom and the world stunned. For over 2 hours, Cassie recounted in vivid detail the decade-long relationship she shared with Diddy, describing it as one marked by manipulation, control, physical abuse, and coerced participation in what he referred to as freak-offs, drug-fueled sexual encounters that often involved escorts and were orchestrated under Diddy's direction. The 38-year-old singer, songwriter, and entertainer spoke calmly but firmly, detailing how her life changed after meeting Diddy when she was just 21 years old. She explained how, initially, the relationship felt exciting and glamorous, especially given Diddy's status in the music industry. But behind closed doors, she said, things quickly turned dark. Cassie described being subjected to emotional and psychological abuse almost from the start. She recalled arguments that would often escalate into physical violence, including being dragged across rooms, slapped in the head, and left with black eyes. She admitted that she feared him, not only because of his physical strength, but also because of the power he held over her career and personal life. At the time, she was signed to Diddy's Bad Boy Records under a 10-album deal, yet she released only a handful of songs during their time together, most of which never saw official release. I didn't know what no could turn into, Cassie told the court, explaining why she agreed to participate in freak-offs despite feeling uncomfortable. She testified that Diddy first brought up the idea within the first 6 months of their relationship, presenting it as something normal and even romantic. He promised her it would be fun, and she wanted to please him. The first session took place at one of his homes in Los Angeles, where an escort was paid to dance and have sex with her while Diddy watched. Ecstasy and alcohol were consumed beforehand, and Cassie said she wore a masquerade mask to disguise herself. What followed, she said, was a pattern that repeated itself for years, weekly sessions that became a routine part of her life. Freak-offs were not spontaneous events. They were planned, organized, and executed with precision. Diddy controlled every aspect, from the location, to the drugs used, to the selection of escorts, many of whom were contacted through Craigslist or other online services. Security personnel and assistants helped facilitate everything, ensuring that no details were left to chance. Cassie described how she was expected to maintain a certain appearance for these events, including specific hairstyles, manicures, and outfits. Diddy would often comment on her looks, sometimes criticizing her for looking too Mexican, or telling her to work out more. These comments, she said, eroded her self-confidence over time. He would take things away depending on how he felt. She testified, "My self-confidence was one of them." She also detailed how Diddy kept tabs on her constantly, sending security or trusted assistants like David James and Christina Korm to check on her if she wasn't where he expected her to be. She lived in various cities including New York, Los Angeles, and Dallas, but rarely had autonomy over where she stayed or what she did. Even when she moved into a house she paid for herself in Studio City, it was only allowed because Diddy approved. Drugs played a major role in the freak-off sessions. Cassie testified that she regularly used ecstasy, GHB, mushrooms, and Special K before and during these encounters. Some of the substances were taken voluntarily, she admitted, but others were unknowingly slipped into her drinks. "I thought we were spending a lot of time together," she said. "I thought we were monogamous." That illusion, however, shattered quickly once she realized the extent of Diddy's control. One particularly disturbing moment came when Cassie described being forced to perform oral sex on multiple men while Diddy watched or participated. She said she hated every second of it, and often dissociated to cope. "I had to become emotionless," she said. "It was something I hated." She also revealed that some of these sessions were recorded on both her devices and Diddy's, though she tried to delete the footage whenever possible. "They were disgusting," she said. "I never wanted anyone to see them." Cassie also provided chilling insight into Diddy's erratic behavior. She described how his moods would swing unpredictably, one moment loving and affectionate, the next angry and violent. One incident in particular stood out: a confrontation at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, captured on video and shown in court. In the footage, Diddy is seen dragging Cassie down a hallway, grabbing her by the neck and hoodie, and taking her phone and bag. Cassie broke down as the video played, visibly shaken by the memory. She explained that this happened after she attempted to leave a freak-off session early, due to an upcoming premiere. Diddy stopped her, leading to the altercation. "I finally had a premiere coming up, and I didn't want to mess it up," she said, but Sean wouldn't let me go. Throughout her testimony, Cassie maintained composure, but the emotional toll was evident. When asked why she didn't say no more forcefully, she replied, "Because I didn't want to make him angry." She also confirmed that Diddy often reminded her of things he had on her, materials, as she called them, which made her fear retaliation if she ever tried to walk away. Defense attorneys objected several times during her questioning, particularly when Cassie began discussing the illegality of the freak-offs or when she referenced staff members who allegedly helped facilitate them. However, the judge overruled most objections, allowing much of her testimony to be heard by the jury. Cassie also spoke about Diddy's paranoia and possessiveness. She revealed that her laptop and phone were frequently confiscated by security, sometimes for days at a time, as punishment. She was never allowed to speak freely with her own manager without Diddy's approval. "James Cruz was managing me with one hand tied behind his back," she said. "He had to check everything with Sean." The singer also mentioned Diddy's connections to dangerous figures in the music industry, including Suge Knight. She recalled a night when Diddy abruptly left a freak-off session after learning Suge was at a nearby diner. "I cried," she said. "I said, don't do something stupid." Another time, she was handed a gun while high on mushrooms and told to put it in her bag before going to a club in downtown LA. She was terrified. As the day drew to a close, the judge interrupted proceedings, stating that was enough for the day. Cassie will return tomorrow to continue her testimony, and it's expected she'll delve deeper into the psychological manipulation and isolation tactics Diddy allegedly used to keep her compliant. Her words today painted a picture of a woman trapped in a cycle of fear, dependency, and degradation, a victim of a man who wielded fame, fortune, and influence like weapons. And yet, despite the trauma, Cassie's voice remained steady, her resolve unwavering. This trial is shaping up to be one of the most explosive legal cases in recent history, and Cassie's testimony may prove to be the turning point. As the world watches, one thing is clear: the truth is finally emerging, and it is devastating. As Cassie Ventura's testimony continues to unfold, the courtroom remains on edge with every harrowing detail she reveals. Prosecutors are expected to use her testimony to establish a pattern of abuse and coercion that allegedly defined Diddy's relationships with multiple women over the years. Her first-hand account of the freak-off sessions, described as meticulously orchestrated events involving escorts, illegal drugs, and surveillance, has painted a damning portrait of a man who allegedly used his wealth, fame, and influence to manipulate and control those around him. Legal analysts have noted that Cassie's calm yet powerful delivery could be pivotal in swaying the jury, especially when combined with physical evidence such as text messages, emails, and video footage that prosecutors say corroborate her claims. Meanwhile, tensions continue to rise outside the courtroom as fears of witness tampering and intimidation grow. The disappearance of victim number 3 has raised alarms among federal authorities, prompting discussions about whether key witnesses should be placed under federal protection. Inside the courthouse, jurors have expressed concerns about their safety and well-being, with at least one requesting removal from the panel due to fear of retaliation. With Diddy allegedly making hundreds of calls from prison attempting to influence testimonies and reports of intermediaries reaching out to potential witnesses, prosecutors are pushing for stricter safeguards. As the trial inches closer to opening statements, it is becoming increasingly clear that this case extends far beyond one man. It's a reckoning for an entire system that allowed decades of alleged misconduct to go unchecked.